Welcome to the Education Over Debt podcast. I am Sheena Hogue, and I'm so glad you joined. This is a place where I give practical financial tips that anyone can understand and you can begin to implement now. Season 2 is all about relationships and money. Each week, I will have a guest come onto the show and share with you their journey. My hope is that you will leave this conversation with a new perspective, tip, or strategy that you can implement today. The Education Over Debt podcast is now streaming on Spotify, so be sure to check us out there and become a monthly supporter for as little as 99 cents per month. And if you haven't already, check out our website at educationoverdebt.com so that you can learn more about what we're doing in the community as a foundation. Our purpose is to provide scholarship monies to students to obtain their bachelor's degree. Today's topic is giving. Our guest is Miss Jania Massey. Jania is a social change agent providing building blocks for nonprofits one community at a time. Raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, she obtained a bachelor in biology with a minor in chemistry and psychology, as well as a master's in healthcare administration. As an organizational strategist passionate about service, she founded JSM Consulting, formerly known as Philanthropy Circle 365 PC Group 365. A professional nonprofit consulting firm with a focus on helping organizations implement strategic partnerships, community awareness, and sustainable development. Her client list includes organizations specializing in financial education, community engagement, and U.S. international development. Jania also founded Stiletto Boss University, teaching women and youth how to start and sustain their own business. She is known as an authentic and transparent leader who strives to empower people to become a better version of themselves and realize their full potential. Jania offers workshops and consult grassroots organizations that seek to drive impact, along with program development for larger organizations interested in social giving, organizational structure, and beyond. Her work spans across a variety of areas such as fundraising, organized event planning, training and development, and community engagement. Please help me welcome to the show, Miss Jania Massey. Hi, Jania. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. Your biography is so impressive, girl. I always like to share a little bit about how I meet some of the people that I speak with. And one of the ways I first met you is we went to high school together recently with one of our mutual friends. And you've helped me with the nonprofit as far as understanding how to go about fundraising, making sure I'm a 501c3, and really just helping me along with this journey. So I really want to thank you for everything that you've helped me with thus far. Although we're still in the beginning stages, I do see where we could go because of my conversations with you. So thank you so much for that.
No problem. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, so share with me a little bit of your journey with how you crossed over into nonprofit sector as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I started, of course, young. You know, my mom always was big about giving back, and I would volunteer all the time. But also just being a woman of faith, I think you're introduced to giving just in church because of your tithes and offering. And when you actually dive deep into how people of color give, is typically to church or to a school, right? So that's how people give when it comes to particular, people of color. So it started there at a young age, but then as I continued to get older, I realized that it was something that just always made me happy. And even though you read my bio, which is always crazy when people read my bio, I remember the turning point of graduating from college and going directly into the workforce. And I worked there for almost 12 years. And towards the last maybe 4 to 5 years, I was not happy. I was like, I can't do this. This is just too much. I knew I wasn't really a C-suite type of person in regards to leadership. I'm a great leader, but I was like, if this is what C-suite mean, I'm not interested. It's just not me. And so just had a moment in 2013 where I had to dive deep and figure out why I wasn't happy. And I knew that what I wanted to leave my legacy, it had to be something of purpose and something that God had specially made for me. So I really went on this deep journey of figuring out what it was. And I realized that what made me happy was creating things and solutions, which is what entrepreneurs do, and also freedom, and then also serving. So when I put all those things together, that's how I came up with running a nonprofit. You know, Stiletto Boss University is my baby. It was established in 2016. That was the trigger that caused me to leave my job to do it full time, to make sure that we're leading the next generation and them knowing what their skill sets are and how magical they are and how they are the next solution givers. So that is something that has been very important for me. It has been a part of my legacy. But also it's been so much a purpose just seeing women come together and collaborate and like pour into each other. So that has been beneficial. But I've just been given, I would really say, all my life, like literally all my life. I just did not know you could make a career out of it. Like, I'm like, wait, people really do pay me. And I like it. I like sending the invoices and getting paid.
Yeah, that's good.
to help
That's good.
serve.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always amazing how like you think the thing that you're really good at, you don't think people will really pay you for it. But as soon as you lean into that passion or that area, that's when you start sometimes making more money than you were making before working for other people. Not only do you make more money, but you usually learn so much more. You know, as
You learn so
an
much more. You're passionate. Yeah, it's just a whole. It's yours. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So it's very. Yeah, you're right.
And one thing I liked you say, you talked about how you really went on a deep dive in your self journey to understand, like, what is it that I really want to do? And I think a lot of times, whenever we are trying to figure out what's our next step, you know, it is always good to kind of have a sit down moment and just be still. You know, one of my favorite Bible verses is be still and know. And I think sometimes
Mhm.
we don't know because we aren't still. And so for me
Mhm.
personally, I had a similar experience before I moved to Chicago because I was working. I wanted to be a financial advisor, and I
Mhm.
moved to Chicago to be a financial advisor. But with that being said, I you know, was making money off commission. And so it was my first time ever making money off commission. And so I didn't really
Mhm.
know how to go about doing that or what to expect. And I was
Mhm.
scared, I was terrified. And so before I moved, I actually did like a whole cost benefit analysis between Chicago, New York, and San Francisco to see like, is this where I need to be moving? What's the cost of living? At that time, I was paying a lot in taxes in Maryland. Maryland taxes is ridiculous, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So that was a big thing for me. Like, what are my taxes going to be in Chicago? Can I have a
Mhm.
different cost of living? Maryland rent and everything is high too. So my goal was
Yeah,
to,
I hear that is very high.
yeah. And now Charlotte, since I moved back home to Charlotte, their rent is going up too. I was like, this is a baby DC, honey. I wasn't ready with this rent, but
Girl.
I found somewhere that's comfortable, and so I'll work on that. But those are some of the things that I thought about before leaving and going into like a commission field, like an entrepreneurial type role. And I
Mhm.
would say it's one of the greatest lessons. I really learned to have faith and what that means to like live out and really trust God in that area of my life. And so I'm always, you
Absolutely.
know, inspired when I hear other people. I think everybody for the most part, they always say they have some kind of self-reflective moment, some type of moment like a come to Jesus moment,
Yeah.
and then they change their course of action and now they're living their best life.
Yeah. And I hope now, with social media, it's just so interesting because, social media, I feel like it was created to bring joy in some sense, but it doesn't bring joy for everybody. For me, when I look at people on social media, I'm like, oh my God, it might inspire me. I'm like, go girl. Like, I'm excited for that person. But some people become really envious of them. You know what I'm saying? And it's a jealousy type of thing. And it's really, it goes back to the scripture, like you were saying, to be still. Because it's like, what I have, you can have too, but what are you willing to do to get it? And I'm not
Right.
saying like sell your soul or anything like that, but I'm saying like, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to reflect on? What are you willing to change about yourself? What do you want? How do you want to be better? And again, it is a lot of smoke and mirrors because some people are showing things that aren't true. Those cars, that's not their car. They're just standing in front of it. They're just taking that picture in front of that Bentley, but that's not theirs. It was parked out there in front of valet. So they just want to take a picture real quick, to feel the floss. But the reality of it is we all can have happiness. We all can have freedom. We all can have abundance. And, it's really your mindset. And, again, what are the things that make you happy? And that was what was important for me. So
Yeah.
absolutely agree with being still because I was still from 2013 until I left my job in 2016. So
Wow.
that was 3 years of being still and prepping and planning and like what don't I like about myself? Like the amount of self-help books that I read, oh my God, I read like Lisa Nichols and Barbara Scanty. Like I read TDJ. Every pastor that had a book, I read it. And it was like because you have to build that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually
true.
having a conversation last night with a friend, and basically she was like, I just don't know what I want to do. And I was like, I said, you're in a transition, because the fact that you know that you don't know what you want to do means that you're trying to figure it out. And I said, the biggest thing for me when I was transitioning was that even though on the outside, I've always been like ambitious and a go-getter, and that's exactly who I am. But if I'm not confident in me taking certain steps in my career, or asking for more money, or negotiating, or knowing my worth, then all that ambition is going to just stay stagnant, right? So I was like, I can't be ambitious and then I ask for no money. I can't be ambitious and not step out on faith. I can't be ambitious and not do X, Y, and Z. So it really is a confidence builder, you know what I'm saying? And really diving deep on what you're good at and what you're not. And it's okay if you're not good at it. You're not supposed to be. You just hire somebody that's good, that's better than you.
Right.
You make it work.
Yeah, and I agree with you even on building your confidence. I used to listen to all the motivational speakers too, like Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Lisa Nichols. I even went to Lisa Nichols conference and volunteered. So
did she say yes, yes? Did she do that?
She did yes. She talked about the whole I'm a transformational leader, all that. So yeah, it was good, but it's good because you meet people too when you're there, and then you can like build relationships with them, years later. So so when
talked about, me and my friend talked about that too. We talked about the people that surround you, because even when I was going through the transition of leaving my job, I couldn't have that conversation with everybody. I couldn't have that conversation about my thoughts of me wanting to leave my job, because if you were the one like, girl, don't leave your job, you need your insurance, or girl, you sure? I didn't need that. I needed somebody that was going to be like, okay, Jania, what's the plan? Or I think that's a good idea, or maybe you should do that. You know what I'm saying? And not to coddle me. I don't need anybody to coddle me, but it was like, who's your surrounding circle? Are you around winners, or are you around complacent people? You know what I'm saying? That's just fine with doing the same thing every day. So I had a lot changed in the last, a lot has changed in my life.
Identifying those people, determining like, can they be supported, determining if they have what you want. Because I think too, sometimes people tell you no because they're afraid, and so they try to project their fears onto you. And so being around people who've already done it, who've already been successful with some aspect of it, even if it's not full blown, but maybe they took a step and they became an entrepreneur. And these are some things to look out for. Like for me, it was taxes. It was also health insurance. When I first worked under someone, like understanding the whole health insurance piece, and it's a little bit more costly when you know how that employer covering you and figuring that piece out. And
I'm looking at you like that, like, yeah, girl, like my insurance just went up $200, but I do have the Affordable Health Care Act, so it's based upon your income. So I'm like, well, it went up $200 because I am making more money, but I'm like, dang, like I wasn't ready, but I have it, so I'm grateful for that. But still, the insurance thing is very important.
Yeah, so that was something I learned about. I think too, you mentioned like just having like better plans. Like you said, you took a few years before you took the leap. I think just being strategic in how you take the leap, and like you was talking about what income you want to make and how to negotiate that income. So you got to know your worth and your value to know to set a price, right?
Yeah.
So all that stuff plays like a huge role, and I think having people to hold you accountable to it. And
absolutely, you need to have a fire circle, like I said, nobody that's coddling you, somebody that'll tell you the truth, an accountability partner. But you have to dig deep within yourself too. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could say, girl, you need to go work out today. You could still not do it. You know what I'm saying? You need to have somebody that you actually will listen to. You know what I'm saying? Or that they are they want you to win. You have to have that cheerleader.
And sometimes somebody to just come alongside you and say, okay, we're going to do this today. Because working in sales for me, sometimes you could be, you get so many rejections. And so sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
could be a little burnt out or whatever. And just have somebody say, well, hey, let me listen to this call that you talked to this client with, or let me be on the phone with
Mm-hmm.
you or something, just some kind of,
Yeah.
because apparently I'm
Yeah,
not
just
doing
give you
something
some
right.
feedback.
Right.
Yeah, let
Yeah.
me just give you something. Yeah, like let me train you. Let me help you. Yeah, I still like that goes into the value of a mentor. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, and it's not age. I think a lot of people when they think of mentors, they think of they have to be a certain age. No, you can't. Like some young kids, they are killing it. I
Yeah.
be looking at people. I'm like, you did what? And you're not even 30 yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, you have to enjoy the journey. You can't compare the journeys
Mm-hmm.
because some people are doing great things in business because of the industry that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, some people could be in real estate, but they could be with luxury clients. So if you have luxury clients and you are NFL, NBA, and all that stuff, you are closing on $1 million homes.
Right.
But you can't compare that to somebody that is a beginner real estate person. You know what I'm saying? But y'all could be different ages. So where's the mentorship? Where is that giving? Because that's giving. That's given to me. How are we giving to each other and helping each other build each other up? So
Right.
yeah.
And you mentioned the whole social media could be like smokes and mirrors. That's so true. And I think sometimes you even have to identify if you are not very confident in yourself. Maybe you need to, not follow some people for a little while till you get your
Yep.
confidence back
Detox.
up. So that, right.
Detox your followers. Detox who you following. Like if you got somebody you following that's just negative all the time, you don't need to follow them no more.
Or if you feel like you comparing yourself to them, like, man, why I ain't where she is? Because a lot of times we want what people have, but we don't want to do the work that they did to get there. And so, like you said, we can't compare. And so if they are, booming because they've been doing it for 20 years and you just started year 2, maybe you need to stop following them until you get your mind right. And then you can come back and follow them once you are more confident in who you are and what your call is and what your duty is to help.
Exactly.
So what are some of the lessons that you learned working with some of these clients, or what are some of the challenges that you see some of the clients facing as they go into this nonprofit sector and raising money and trying to serve and do all these things?
Well, so the thing that I see in the nonprofit space when people go into it is that people fail to realize that nonprofits are a business. It's a business. It is just a tax exemption. It's still a business. You still have bills. You may have discounted bills, or you can write some things off, but you still need to conduct it as a business. So a lot of times some people just like, oh, I'm about to just start a nonprofit. And granted, if you are the person that has the capital to do it, you know what I'm saying, or it's just like a one-off fundraiser, or maybe you're doing a book bag drive, or maybe you're doing something that doesn't really require a lot of money, then yeah, that's something. If you work a 6-figure job or something, like, I want to write off that and put in a nonprofit and give back in that way, perfect. But if you are really trying to build something that's more programmatic, that's teaching, that is building and growing, then that's when you got to get more into applying for grants and getting individual donors and having a fundraising plan and making sure you just have your paperwork and stuff in place. I have seen a lot of people get their 501c3, but then they fail to realize, oh, I have to report back to the IRS every year in order to keep the status. So then you did all that work to get the 501c3, and then if you forgot to do that for 3 years, you've lost it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go back through, and you may have to pay to get back your 501c3. So there are business structure and things that you need to have in place. So that's one thing I see consistently all the time. As far as business in general, I think people don't recognize the value of consistency, right? So being an entrepreneur, you have to show up every day, even when you don't want to. And, and showing up every day, it looks different. How I show up on a Monday is not the same way that I show up on a Thursday, because that's a whole 3 days later. So Monday, I might be ready. I'm ready to go. I'm hyped. I done got my rest in. I done praise the Lord on Sunday. I'm ready. And then life happens. Life could happen on Monday. I could lose a client. You know what I'm saying? Or by Thursday, I could get the biggest, the biggest news ever. I can get the worst news ever. It is constantly changing, but I think the consistency of always showing up is what is really the key. And you can't throw the towel in. And I do think it is kind of different, you know, you're going to always evolve and pivot. I think last year with 2020 and everything that went on, like I got tired of hearing the word pivot, but it was it was a word that we had to continue to say because you had to pivot. You had to go back to the drawing board and strategize. And for some people, they may have already had the vision of their business and it was just them continuing to work the plan through the pandemic, right? So it was certain things that the pandemic was a true blessing for me, especially when it comes to my consulting, because I was literally a hamster on a wheel running my nonprofit and stuff. And I had my consulting clients, but because we were on a pause and because I was able to sit still, I was able to get more systems in place and more structure in place. And even though my clients were happy, now I've given myself structure and automation and delegation. And I have like my team, everybody is clear. They understand the vision of the consulting. So now I can serve more people within my capacity. And I was having a meeting with my accountant this week, and she was like, "You did good on profit." And I was like, "Yes," you know what I'm saying? Because I always want to be in the green, but she was like, "You did great." But she also said, "You're not spending a lot of money either. Like you have gotten your formula down to where you get what you need for business. You have the right bodies in place to execute it, but you can serve people in this capacity that makes you better. And customer service is everything in business. You know, people work with you because they like you. That's it." Because now I remember like back in the day, you never knew who the CEO was. Mm-hmm. Like we would have never known or cared who owned Amazon. Mm-hmm. We just knew it was just a business. Now, especially with Black women, mm-hmm. everybody want to know who the CEO is. You know, every CEO has now turned into his own separate brand outside of the business. Mm-hmm. And that is so interesting to me because I'm very much like, let me go just be in the corner and mind my business and do my work. You know what I'm saying? And I'll probably always be that way. But it is interesting at times, like now when I look at Essence, I was like, oh my God, that's my friend that owns this business. Or, oh my God, she looks just like me. Or, oh my God, I've heard about her business, you know. Like I love Melissa Butler with the lip bar. I love that lipstick. You know what I'm saying? But she's no different than me. You know what I'm saying? Like she's cool. She's very relatable. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. So when you just think about the evolution of business and Black women in business, all of it is about consistency and continue to show up. Right. You get better every day. So those are the two things I would say that I see from a nonprofit space, and what I would say my biggest lessons when it comes just being consistent.
Yeah, I think consistency is really hard for a lot of people. It's hard for me. You know, it's like you start off good and then you kind of dwindle and then you start being consistent if things don't show up like you think they should show up, or as fast as you want them to show up. Like I'm going. So yeah, and then you fall off. And so yeah, consistency is huge as an entrepreneur in any type of field. You need to learn how to be consistent.
Any type of field.
And like you said, we're putting the structures in place so that you can, and delegation, so that you can get it done. Like kind of like the fallback on if you don't show up one day, like you got something to fall back on. It's almost like a cushion, like with your systems and stuff, with the social media marketing or the, you know, all this stuff that you have to do, you know, reply emails, you know, it can be little stuff like that, put something
little stuff. Yeah.
If you don't get back within, you know, 5 minutes, they know, okay, within 24 hours, I should hear back from her. That gives you a little bit more time, you know, to follow up.
Follow through, and just, you know, execute. You know, whatever you do, execute in excellence. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you say you're going to do. You know, a lot of people say, don't overpromise and underdeliver. You know what I'm saying? Like, underdeliver and overpromise. You know what I'm saying? Make it an experience. Customer service is everything. You know, even when it comes down to like just packaging. You know, when people mail me stuff, I'm always like, ooh, how did they how do they package this? Like, how is it folded? You know, what is the flyer? You know, I'm always into that or whatever, especially when it comes to products. So
yeah, that's good. And then the other thing you mentioned too was like money management, making sure you keep your expenses low so that you can have a higher net profit or do well. And I think that's another thing too. I think, in my personal opinion, you need to learn how to manage money before you really go into any type of entrepreneurial thing, because you find out real quick it ain't what you think it is, because the money can be so sporadic. So you need to figure out a way to like keep your expenses as low as possible. So if you get a big, paycheck, or if you get a small paycheck, you can still like be consistent and keep it even keel. And then once you figure that part out, then figure out how can you invest back into your business so that you can continue to grow your business and get better products or team members and things like that. Like
absolutely.
It's like a fine line. Like for me, I do percentages. So like, should I invest 10% back into the business or 15%? But I always trying to figure that out, and knowing that it could change. Like, with spending plans, people always think like you got to create a budget for the year. Like, no, it changes.
It changes.
And I guess because I used to work in commissions, so that was a big thing for me. Like, I don't have systematic auto pay. Like, let me pay you when I get, like, when I want to pay you. Like, it was a big thing.
Right. Right. Like, let me pay you when I got it. Like, hold up now. Don't take my money.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not getting. Yeah, because that's it. You're not, like, I'm not getting paid bi-weekly. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no. Like, people will pay oh God, don't even talk about net 30.
Yeah.
If you like, it's some projects where it'll be like, I'll do the work, but I'm not seeing that paycheck for 30 days.
Right.
So I could literally not have any money. February is not even 30 days. Let's just be real. So you could go a whole month without getting, a payment on work that you did up front. So yeah.
Yeah. So money management is huge when you go into entrepreneurship. So that was good that you shared that with us. You talked about pivoting and how you pivoted in 2020 to kind of focus more on your consulting business. What are you looking forward in 2021?
Oh gosh. So with Stiletto Bosch University, we just launched yesterday our new membership subscription program. So it's called SVU Premium, and basically participants can pay $10 per month and they can learn entrepreneurship at their own pace. And so every month we're dropping a new module about an entrepreneurial topic. So we have like finance, legal, networking, marketing, leadership, intro to entrepreneurship. So we dropped that yesterday, and I was super excited because, again, it's about service. So even though I would love to be in front of a whole stadium full of kids and like teach them and have my team and stuff, that's not our capacity or our reality. So the pivot was, even though I had this idea and had been working on it since 2019, we had been in production with it, like getting the curriculum and stuff together, like brainstorming what platform we want to use and all that stuff. But 2020, because we slowed down, we were able to get our website like slightly rebranded, and then we were able to implement this new virtual platform. So we launched it yesterday. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about getting this out to more students that just want to learn. And it kind of like the curriculum, it really piques their interest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, but then I'm not sure. It's like, girl, pay $10 so you can learn, and then you can decide, you know what I'm saying, what it is that you want to do or may not want to do. It may not be for you, but it's also one of those things where it may be a topic that you might be like, oh, finance, wait, I might want to be an accountant. Like, this is natural to me. You know what I'm saying? Or marketing. Oh, selling someone's, marketing something to sell someone's good. That might be something that I want to do. So it will help just people in general, like figure out what it is you want to do. And I think that's what life is about, figuring out what it is that you want to do. So I'm looking forward to growing that. What else I'm looking forward to serving more clients like we're doing. I'm getting back into teaching. So getting back into teaching workshops virtually in a private Facebook page. So if anybody purchased anything from JSM Consulting, as far as our online course or workbooks, or if they want me to coach them to building out their nonprofit, I'll be offering free training sessions on different topics every month. So I'll have some of my amazing friends in legal and finance and corporate sponsorship to come, and we'll do like training. So I'm excited about that series because I really do like to teach, even though I'm not a teacher. And what else? I'm just excited. Like, it's going to be an extraordinary year. Like, we don't know what's going to happen, but I think we know that it's in our mindset. You know, we still quarantine, but I hate to say this. I kind of like quarantining a little bit.
Oh, Lord. You liking it, girl? I'm ready
I
to be
kind of
out.
like it. I kind of, only thing that I miss is traveling. But
That's true.
like today, I went and got gas, and I was like, this is my first time at the gas station in 2021. Like, I literally am like looking at how much money I'm saving because I don't have to drive anywhere. And I know that's like, Jania, over gas, like, girl, bye. But it really, it's just like, it's certain aspects of it. Like, just me getting back to cooking, you know, before I came on here, I was like, oh, let me cook something. You know, before I was just always on the go, which caused me to always grab something, you know, always going out to eat and stuff like that. So now it's like, I'm back to like getting a more better routine and really practicing my boundaries. But I am ready to travel. I do want to go out, you know, with the dinner and all, you know, I'm over the mask for sure because I can't breathe in them. But I'm kind of quarantine liking it a little bit.
Okay.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge. Okay.
Just
Well,
a smidge.
I can agree with you on the travel tip because I do want to get back out to traveling. I want to go to Central America, to be honest with you, but we'll see when things open up. Yeah, I had this goal a few years back to travel like out of country every other year. And for the past 3 years, I think I've gone out every year. Except for 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Like, going out every year. So yes, I am into traveling. So I'm super excited about that. But you just mentioned a lot of stuff with your monthly subscription. That's always good. I feel like 2020, in my opinion, kind of taught people that maybe they do need to level up a little bit and pay for some of these skill sets that they trying to do.
That is
true.
Do. I was like, the coaching business has went through the roof. Like, just seeing some coaches that I follow, like, generate $1 million, you know what I'm saying, during a pandemic. I'm like, wait, what? You know, and granted, that's not why I'm coaching. Like, I really want to help people, but because I know how I go in, like, you have to invest, you know, because people will drain you dry. So, but yeah, people have been like, oh, let me invest in this skill. Let me learn how to do this. Yeah.
Because of change with corporate America and most of the jobs, and you know, you do need to invest in yourself, just like you put all that time and energy at work. I don't know if people think about it, but at work, like, you have so much trainings you have to take, like, every year, every job,
learning and development. Right, oh my gosh, yes.
So like, what are you
like
doing
clicking
personally?
through, like, what are we doing? Yeah. I used to just click through, like, Lord, get me to the end so I can take this quiz. Like,
right. So if you just think about it, what are you doing personally to develop yourself and really to go after the things that you say you want to do? Like, 2020, I think, was a time for people to wake up. You had to stop coasting and try to wake up a little bit and see, hey, where am I really? And where do I want to go? And how am I going to take ownership for where I'm trying to go? And so that's good that you are looking in, you know, you looked into what you want to do. You set up the subscriptions, you pivoted, and now you saw some fruits from your labor this year. And I know this year in 2021, you're going to even see even more. Like, we had a word this year, what some of my friends was results. So like, they've been sowing and planting and doing so much in 2020. So, you know, 2021, their word is like results. Like, we're going to see manifestation of the things that we've been working so hard over for the past couple years, a year, or what have you. So super excited.
Well, what are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to?
So with the nonprofit, I'm looking to really grow that. And that's one of my main things, to be honest with you. I've done like scholarship chair for like 3 years. So I know how to do the work. It's just now I'm learning a new skill set with fundraising and growing money. And now, since you brought that up, it's a struggle for me to ask for help with money. So how...
I know, we had a consultation. I know.
It's a real struggle.
I know.
How do you get people to, even with giving in general, how do you get people to see like it's okay to give? Like I'm a giver as far as like I give into charitable events. I was on the thing giving back to HBCUs at one point, like list 5 schools to give back to, right? So I believe in giving back to things that I'm passionate about that could be outside of the church. Because sometimes I think in our community we just get to the church, but you can still give outside the church and into other things that you are passionate about. So how do you get people to see the benefits of giving to something outside of the church and like trying to be consistent and be supportive in giving?
And honestly, it goes back to consistency. Like I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, what God told me to do, hell or high water. Like it's going to happen. So I have noticed, because people continue to see me doing the work, I continue to put it out, that people just be like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like once they see it a repetition, they be like, okay, well, I want to give to this cause. So a lot of it is action, right? It's action and it's execution and it's sharing. You know what I'm saying? I don't share everything I do, but I do share, and then once I did that, once the consistency, and I started bringing other people into the fold that supported us, then they were mouthpieces. They were going out and doing different things. But also I had to learn how to ask. I had to learn, and the thing is, I don't like asking people for money either. So I think it's like, I laugh at God because he has me doing this for a career. I'm like, how? You know what I'm saying? But I realized that if I were to write down 10 names, and if I were to ask all of them for $10, I would get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't naturally ask for money. So because I don't ask for money, people are like, well, dang, she must really need it, or she must really be doing something with it. So again, if you don't ask for it, you can't receive it. You know what I'm saying? It's the ask, believe, receive. So it can be difficult at some times, but at the same time, I don't let no have that much weight on me, because I've heard no before, and I've heard no that had no money attached to it. So it's really where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Or, again, I don't take it. I used to take it personal, but I don't have the capacity to take it personally anymore, because it's greater than me, and it always has been. So it really is a mindset, you know what I'm saying? And again, like I always tell people to do the exercise, like write a list of names, and even if you don't even want the money. Like I remember one time I was like, I'm just gonna send a group text and see, ask somebody to give me $5 and see how many people say, okay, what's your cash app, or whatever. And it was like, everybody was like, okay, what's your cash app? You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, well, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just an experience. I don't need the money, but it was just like, it was just like getting me in habit of asking, you know what I'm saying? And then I always come, I know both of us are in, the D9 world, and as many times they ask us for money, it's like, girl, they don't have no problem. You pay your membership dues, and then next thing you know, not even a weekend, we need $1,500. What do we do? I just paid you. Like, so it's always,
yeah, you're right.
I always be like, yo, if D9 can ask for it for over 100 years, we can ask for it.
That's
so
true.
So it's all of that. So yeah,
that's true. You know what? Even with what you said about the $5, maybe I should just try to like do a $5 gift just to see if people would give. Like that's how much of like I cringe. I don't know why, but it's a huge small. I might need to just try to do that to get in the habit of asking people.
Because I mean, honestly, in just all honesty, I remember when I was a part of this program that I was a U.S. advocate, and I had to raise money for Stiletto Bosch University. I had to raise $20,000, and I was like, how in the heck am I going to raise $20,000? I don't know. And then people that were in my program, they knew wealth. They probably came from wealth. Like they sent out an email and got half of their goal or more, or got their goal in like a month. And it took me the whole 9 months. But it stretched me to be like, okay, how do I strategize in asking people? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that strategy? Who are my high ticket donors? Who are my low ticket? What do I need to do? I even went to it. I tried everything. I literally tried everything. I was doing yoga fundraisers. I was reaching out to my friends that had small business. I was like, can I work for y'all for a day in exchange for donate? Like, I was doing all of these things to see what worked. You know what I'm saying? And every time I did something, it made me get more confident in asking. And I mean, last year, I got the biggest grant that I've ever received thus far, you know, and I'm talking about a big grant. And I was just like, Jania, you were scared to ask for $5. now you got to a point of where you like, look, I'm gonna ask you for it, either you gonna give it to me or you not, and you got it. You know what I'm saying? So you do have to build yourself up to it, you know. But I really did the $5 thing, you know. I really did. I was like, who gonna give me $5? Because I would give it to them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let me see who's gonna give me $5. So yeah. So try the $5 method.
I may try the $5 method. It's been great having you on this podcast. I've truly enjoyed it. I asked my guests rapid fire questions, and I'm going to ask you those questions. Are you ready?
Oh God, I think so.
Okay. So, paper or plastic?
It's gonna sound bad, plastic.
Oh, okay. You my first guest that said plastic. Okay.
Because when you asked, I immediately thought about me putting it into the trash bag, like in my bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And who's putting paper in that? You know what I'm saying? Like you put in the plastic so it could fold over the trash can. That's what I thought. But yeah, plastic.
Okay. If your life was a movie, what genre would it be?
Romantic comedy.
Romantic comedy. Okay. Everybody has said romantic comedy so far. So I don't know.
Really?
Yes. And I mean, beautiful. So yeah. Okay. One piece of advice that you received that you think everyone should know or we should completely disregard.
Everyone, what advice? Oh, my favorite advice is from my grandfather. He says, start with you. So when he says that, he means like kind of like if someone's treating you a certain type of way, like start with you. How do you want to be treated? Like always start with you and how you want to react or how you want to be treated or what you want to put out into the universe. So he always says that to me. And I'd be like, yeah, start with you, you know. So yeah, I would say that.
That's good. How would you define success?
Success is happiness. It is drinking all the glasses of water you need every day so your skin could be pure. It is freedom. It is joy. It is abundance. It is literally like you feel like you're floating, you know, on every day. So that's success to me. Oh, and I mean, it's great when you pay all your bills and ain't nobody calling you, but you know, success to me is really happiness.
Okay. And in 3 words or less, how would you define yourself?
Direct, go-getter, goofball.
Okay. Those are good words.
Even though they were hyphenated.
Well, still, those are very good words. How can people get in contact with you?
Oh, people can get in contact with me on my social. Oh Lord, my personal social media is Dear Jania on Instagram. But you can follow Stiletto Boss University on all social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And you can follow my consulting page, JSM Consulting Now, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And you can email me, go to our website, all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jania. Just for our listeners, everything will be in the box below with all the comments of how you can get in contact with Jania. Thank you so much for being our guest today on the Education Over That podcast. Have a great day.
Thank you for having me. Have a good one.
Wow. That was an amazing episode with Jania. Jania taught us so many things. She taught us the importance of being ambitious. She taught us that you have to ask for what you want if you say that you're an ambitious person. She also taught us the importance of knowing who you have surrounding you. Are these people that can support you, encourage you, challenge you, and people that you can even listen to for feedback? She talked to us about the value of consistency, and she said that one way for nonprofit organizations to to receive consistent donations or grants is by showing up in the community and serving people on a consistent basis. When people see that your organization continues to serve people, that they're more likely to give to you, as well as you're more likely to get grants. We thank our guest, Ms. Jania Massey, for joining us here today on the Education Over That podcast. Thank you all for tuning in to that podcast. Please be sure to check us out on Spotify and become a monthly supporter. And if you haven't, go ahead and check out our website at www.educationoverthat.com so that you can learn more about what we're doing in the community. I am Sheena Ho. Remember to live life, love life, and be well.